do countdown? What we doing, Wolf?
You want to count down?
Yes, please.
All right, good.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, countdown coming in live then. Five, four, three, two, and one.
Hey, what's up, y'all? You are listening to your Mental Matters podcast. I'm your girl Mo, and for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. We are back with another episode, and we got a very special guest in the building. We got Most Jen, right? But I'm like, this is my homie for real. Like I
Yeah,
consider you a friend, like a homie.
yeah.
I always start the podcast kind of like super like formal,
Hmm.
like when it's like it's not that, but
Yeah,
just for the audience. But this is Most. I definitely want to have you introduce yourself to the people, who you are, what you do, and anything else you want to share. But I appreciate you so much for being
yeah,
here.
absolutely. I love that we're doing this
Yeah.
again. I think was I like the first?
You were like, so my very first episode was with my mom, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure you probably were like either episode 2 or 3, like
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah, and then kind of I was looking back at it and I was like, yo, I don't know if we was doing this during COVID.
Yes.
And we was
Mhm.
like on Zoom and I'm seeing it to now.
Yeah.
And I'm like that glow up is
Yeah.
insane.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you so much. Like, that's what I'm like, anybody who was there for the beginning, like, I have so much gratitude for you, even just being a part of my journey when it was like a little tiny, tiny, like mustard seed, right? Like, it
Yeah.
was so small. And I didn't really have like, you know, I've always had like vision, but like I don't think I even saw it growing to this level
Mm,
either. Cause I was just doing it because I just had the passion to do it at the time.
yeah.
Um, but I appreciate you so much because you were part of the journey to
Yeah.
it getting here, I feel like, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Do you remember how I don't remember how we originally met. I know you did the event.
Yeah.
I think you had hit me up about that.
Yes.
And it was just kind of random. And
Right.
and it was just like, hey, listen, I'm doing something for mental health.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I'm down.
Yeah. That is a great question. How did we originally meet? I don't think I remember that,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
because I don't know if we had mutuals at the time,
Mhm.
and how we like how you put the event together. Because I got there, I don't think I knew anybody.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know how it happened, but it was
Mhm.
kind of just like, hey, like I'm doing this event. I think you were collecting a lot of like uh poets
Yeah.
to do like the show.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know how I ended up on your radar, but it's
I
been it's been
I
chill ever
know.
since.
Absolutely. And this was like what, 2019, 2020? I
Yeah.
feel like this was very like just right in the midst of COVID or at the
Yeah.
like it was like in the eye of it for real. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, no, we're gonna do this event. We're gonna do it. And hopefully it's amazing. But I don't even remember. But I'm pretty sure it had to do with like there were a few poets there.
Mhm.
You were one of them. And it could have just been maybe I came across your content
Mhm.
via social media because that's happened a lot with me where like I see someone doing something and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's very much so me. Like if I see something and I like it, I'm like, ooh, how can we like connect?
Collaborate.
Right,
Yeah.
collaborate. And
Yeah.
your content was fire, of course.
Appreciate
And
that.
that it probably happened like that. It's a little fuzzy for me, but
Yeah.
that just sounds right.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you for even like taking a chance because I was a
Yeah.
whole stranger. You could have been like, no, girl.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was just because of the message I think you were trying to send. And I feel like mental
Mhm.
health is very near and dear to me. So I try to involve myself as much as I can,
Yeah.
especially with like, you know, I'm not saying that I have like a huge platform to kind of speak out about it, but if I'm ever invited on other people's platforms,
Yeah.
I always enjoy talking about it, talking about
Mhm.
my experiences with it.
Yep.
And a lot of like when I do poetry and a lot of the events that I do kind of revolve around that. And who doesn't enjoy kind of letting stuff off their I didn't know if we curse, but I was like letting stuff off
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
off their chest. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you kind of finding me and then being like, hey man, I want to send this message
Yeah.
and I want people to come and I want to create this community in this circle. And I think ever since then, we all kind of the people you kind of brought together all now like kind of resonate in each other's networks.
Mhm.
So it was because of you. I feel like you connected a lot of people, and I think you built this community just by like an event that you did one
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yes. No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for like even just sharing that and kind of like, yeah, because I just feel like that's my goal. One of my goals ultimately is
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it and I love it and I want to help people and I want to continue to like bring awareness, spread the awareness, make these conversations just more, just like normal
Mm,
to have, create some normalcy around it. But I also want like to build community at the same time. Like that's big for me too. Like, I am a part of like different communities, but like I just feel like there's something about um like the mental health space that like really it just hits different. And of course it's because it's the work that I do, but it's just is aside from that. Like even if like this wasn't what I got paid to do,
mm,
I would still be doing it. So like that's how I know like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is like a something that has been assigned to me by God, like
mm,
that's how I look at it. And so if that means that like, like in what you were saying where it's like now like people are like interconnected, right? And it's I don't even know that I was like in my head like I want this to happen so I'm gonna do it this way so it can happen, but I think when you follow like what the assignment is that
mm.
God has placed on you, things like that happen,
Yeah,
where it's like now people are interconnected and this is community building,
yeah,
right? In just a real special way. So I appreciate that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yes. Yeah. So like thank you. Thank you for that, for the
Mhm.
intro, right? And of course, like all episodes, I start off with a mental health check-in, right?
Okay.
Like you're the guest, and we both could do our check-ins. It's not just on you, but
Yeah,
I always like to, start off checking in with the
yeah,
guest just to see how you've been doing, like,
yeah,
overall lately. It could just be today if you want to
yeah,
just do a check-in for today. If you want to do like this past week, or if you want to do overall, maybe like the past month or so. How have you been doing mentally,
yeah.
emotionally, spiritually?
Man, that's such a heavy question. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like when you say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to say like it, full transparency. I think this might have been like one of the worst years of my life.
Mm,
Um, yeah, man. I just kind of, it's almost like loss has been, it's like a constant theme
yeah.
that I had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I want to say it is. There was like this quote. I forgot who said it, but it said, essentially, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So I try to like take that with a grain of salt and realize that, we're all put in situations to kind of grow from.
Yeah.
But, I wish that things were a bit easier,
Mhm.
when it comes to the situations you get put in.
Yep.
Um I try not to. I'm a very emotional person.
Mm.
I understand that. I'm sensitive. I'm an artist. So like that
Absolutely.
that that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of been filled with like loss and grief and you know, not knowing where to go. Like I always had kind of like a direction
Mhm.
of where I want to be and how I want to grow and how I want to get there. But when kind of someone flips that whole table
Mhm.
on you and you have to like scramble and figure out what to do, it was tough. It took me a while to kind of like reset. So much so like when you bringing up God and stuff like that, it,
Mhm.
it kind of felt like, as a Muslim, I'm accustomed to praying 5 times a day, but even that felt
Mhm.
uh like heavy for me to even get to one.
Yeah.
Which also is like a double-edged sword because then I'm just like, yo, I'm lacking in my faith,
Mhm.
and I'm lacking in life.
Yeah.
How do I get to at least like even ground?
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been tough. I feel like at this point though, I kind of have an idea. I'm aware of like my emotions and I'm
Yeah.
aware of, how I'm feeling. Sometimes the problem is that I don't know what I'm feeling and that's just even worse.
Mm.
But I'm back on my feet now. I think I'm just trying to understand like when you talk about purpose
Mhm.
and things like that, like where am I gonna go from here?
Mhm.
And I feel like you know, I'm trying just like everybody else,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is try.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sorry that it's been rough for you this
Yeah.
year. I think like it sounds difficult.
Mm.
Um I mean, it sounds like maybe you're starting to see maybe a little bit of that like silver. I always like to say like there's silver linings and everything, even some of the like worst things or the worst moments. And it sounds like maybe you're starting to see a little bit of that now, but I think that, it doesn't make it any less heavy what you have been going through. So I'm here. I always say that like any of my peoples, anybody who's showing up for me in any kind of way. If
Yeah.
ever you just need an ear or just like, whatever it is. Sometimes it's just like grabbing some food, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, talking on the phone, whatever that is. Um, I mean that. Like I don't just say it.
I
Like
know you
I'm
do.
actually, so
Yeah.
like, don't ever hesitate or, um yeah, don't ever hesitate to like reach out if ever you felt like my back is really against the wall and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. Like I hate the idea that there would be anybody that I consider to be like a friend
Mm.
in any kind of way and they maybe feel like they fighting for their life and I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah. Yeah.
like so I always say that. Like don't ever feel like you can't share those things. Like it's not always butterflies and rainbows out here,
Yeah.
even though we would like it to be,
Yeah.
it's not always that. So I'm definitely here for you even in spirit if
Mhm.
it's, if that helps at all, but um yeah, and I don't know if you want to expound any further on that.
Yeah, like I can well, I feel like the theme is kind of lost
Mhm.
is the beginning of the year was started off kind of rocky.
Yeah.
I was kind of forced out of you know, a company that I helped
Mhm.
co-found and build from the ground up. I spent years of my life pouring into it,
Mhm.
creatively.
Yeah.
And it kind of just felt like it was unjust and I was kind of left staggered.
Mhm.
I kind of was left hopeless. It came from like out of nowhere, so I didn't really know how to process that.
Yeah.
And I kind of just like it started spiraling for me, and then it kind of everything was happening back to back where I was
Yes.
just like, if I can just get over this, I
Mhm.
can continue. But things just kept hitting me, road bumps. I lost like opportunities,
Yeah.
like for work.
Mhm.
My wife and I had to deal with a loss with like creating a family, and that one just,
Mm.
it took me out of. It was kind of like an out of body experience because then you're kind of grieving the person that you were, and looking back at it, and it was just like it was a hard thing to kind of experience,
Yeah,
especially when you haven't experienced something like that.
for
And
sure.
I'm so grateful for my wife to kind of at least have someone to kind of go through these
Mhm.
trials and tribulations with, and we came out of that, I believe, stronger. But it was the multiple hurdles back to back
Yeah.
that had me feeling like I was like losing too much. I lost friends and in the mix of all of this.
Mhm.
So it was a little devastating for me.
For sure.
I'm the type of person to be like, if I get hit once, I can recuperate,
Yeah.
but getting hit multiple times in a
Mhm.
in a short amount of time, it kind of just made me feel like I spiraled a little bit,
Mhm.
especially like into like depression and stuff like that. And I'm aware of when I'm kind of getting to that moment where I'm feeling depressed and I know I'm gonna be in this stage for a minute and then
Yeah.
having to deal with anxiety because a lot of the stuff that I do is social and it
Mhm.
is front facing.
Mhm.
So having to, keep putting on masks and not actually processing the things that were happening to me
Yeah.
just made it harder and harder to be around people,
Yep.
and then unfortunately for me, with my work being in the United States and my wife being in, the UK,
Mm.
that was also a thing because there are times where I can't even have that sense of like comfort, like physical comfort, and I
Yeah.
know it affects us. I mean, I think we're pros at that, by the way, when it
Yeah.
comes to like long distance. I feel like we killed it. But
Love
in
it.
like the worst times where it could be, we could be together every day, and then there has to be a time where we separate for work because she's a nurse in the UK,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
what I like. I'm an actor
Yeah.
and all that stuff here. So it could be like one day that we're apart where things hit the fan and I just don't have that
Mm.
foundation of like, where I feel like I'm walking on quicksand.
Yep.
And I think I had to essentially learn how to deal with life and not be so dependent on, like your partner.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's a bad thing,
Mhm.
but I think, learning how to kind of be our own people
Yeah.
and just depending on yourself and then coming together and having that relationship was by far one of the best things we learned as a couple.
Yeah.
Not having to feel like when I'm sad I need you to
Mm.
make me happy, and that was never the case.
Mhm.
It helps,
Yeah.
at times, and I think it's very simple, that, life gets better for me when I'm with
Of
my
course.
wife, and I think that's vice versa as well. But I think, you know, no partner wants to feel, worried about their significant other when they're not around, and I can't be the one
Mhm.
to pick you back up on your feet, but I
Mhm.
need you to do that for yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do it
Mhm.
for me at least. If
Yeah.
if I can't be the one to do it for me.
Mhm.
So it's kind of changing that mentality, um, for me specifically, because I feel like, you know, I I came in like into the relationship a bit damaged,
Mm.
and I had to kind of work on myself as well. But yeah, man, she's been completely like patient and
Okay.
graceful and loving, and I don't think I've ever had that in my life like with a partner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm grateful for her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that you know, I think that is a lot what you
Mm,
shared, right? Like I'm definitely, just like I feel for you guys for
mhm,
what you guys experienced that loss. Um it's not something that I can relate to specifically, but
mm,
I have friends, family who have, and it's always a very like emotional experience from what I hear. Like that
mm,
is I feel like the like unanimous kind of like it's almost like you change in that process, right?
mm,
Like you were describing. And so I definitely, kind of just my heart like, is with you guys.
yeah,
And continuing to just like allow yourself to go through, I would say, even that grief process,
mm,
right? Because I know like the technical, definition of griefs or what grief consists of is like there's like the five stages and like
yeah,
going through those things, but it can look different sometimes,
mm,
right? It's not always exactly by the book,
yeah,
right? And so whatever that is for you, allowing yourself to feel that and go through that, even if, some time has passed, like it doesn't mean that you won't still go through that. I know like for, the women specifically that I know, it kind of sticks with them through like years and like I don't know that
mm.
it's a thing that
Ever goes away.
ever goes away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And it could very much so be the same thing for you where, I think men sometimes they process things differently and it looks different.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that the impact wasn't just the same though,
yeah,
right? So allow yourself to feel and go through whatever it is. And know that like, I think it's beautiful though that like, you and your partner have each other.
yeah.
I think I didn't even know that you were married, but I've learned that recently.
Really?
More so like I think probably at the more recent live show.
Oh,
The
okay.
live show was when or even maybe before that,
Yeah,
right before the live show, I was like, Mos is out here like cuffed up. And
yeah,
I was like, that's beautiful. Like when I tell you,
mm,
it's so beautiful to see.
mhm,
Like I'm so happy for you that you have a partner that like you can even go through like a trial
yeah,
like that. That's so heavy.
yeah.
And then you guys still remain within each other, right? And
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
think it's a lot of like make or break stuff when it
Yeah.
comes to relationships, and I don't think we ever had like that break part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it only makes us stronger. And what I want to say is with our relationship, how it was, how it came to be about. It was it's like long distance.
Yeah.
And it was a time where like we're coming up to 5 years of being married now,
Mhm.
and like during COVID, all we had was distance.
Mm,
So all we can do is communicate.
mm,
Um, I was talking to somebody earlier. where, when they were asking about like, do you have any marriage advice?
Mhm.
And I wanted to really push the idea of communication and really understanding each other,
Yeah.
because you can communicate with anybody, but
Mm.
how to understand how to communicate with one another, it's kind of like a different ball game, because not everybody will get you the way you get you, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of like a learning curve
Mhm.
you get with relationships, and how I can communicate better, how I can understand you better,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So our communication game was quite strong before, you know, actually getting into the thick of our relationships.
Mhm.
So all we ever do is kind of talk things through, and
Yep.
how we process things, of course, is different.
Mhm.
Um, but as long as we're able to communicate with each other, we'll get to that point of just like, all right, cool. We were stuck at A, now we're at B.
Mhm.
It's calm.
Yep.
Um, so I enjoy that part of growth, because before it was just like, I need to figure this out right now, and she's
Mhm.
kind of more of like, pump the brakes,
Mm.
let's process this first,
Yes.
and then we could come back to
Absolutely.
the talking table. But
Yeah.
yeah, she definitely taught me a lot.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I think that's amazing, and that's always the I know that's my hope for myself, where I'm
Mhm.
like, whoever I with, I want them to teach me something,
Yeah.
right? Or teach me things,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't want it to just be like, even though it's cool, like, you don't gotta come in as a teacher for real, but, like,
Yeah.
I just want it to be a thing where it's like, wow, I've learned so much about myself.
Mm.
I've learned so much even about the world and people, and I feel like I know a lot about people. I feel like I'm a pretty, what's the word? Multifaceted, multidimensional person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just one way. And I think that comes from my life experiences, right?
Mhm.
From like, of course, being from New York, growing up in New York, but also like, being intentional about learning
Yeah.
as an individual. But if someone was to come in and I just start learning mad stuff, like, whew, I would be floored. Like, I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you're the one. You're the one for
Yeah.
me." Because, um, I've talked about on this show multiple times that, like, I just feel like the people that I come across, I'm like, "Y'all just some busters." Like, what what y'all got going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, "What y'all got going on?" And it's not like that's the thing, because it's no knock, no shade to nobody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I have, you know, been in relationship with or connected with anyone that I've connected with that was dumb or anything. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? Not
Mhm.
stupid like that, right? In that way.
Mhm.
More so just feeling like it just it some of the experiences I've had wasn't as deep as I am.
Mm.
And I'm like, and that's where like when I hear your example of like, cuz it sounds like depth. It just
Yeah.
sounds rich and like there's depth there and it's like real.
Mm.
I'm like, why do I keep I ask this question so often. Why do I keep coming across these people who just don't step with that, don't
Yeah.
lead with that? Like it's and I'm just that's when I start looking at myself, which I think in one of my more recent episodes that I recorded, this was with Docs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Docs, Brick City Buddha.
Shout out to that.
Yeah, he was like, because he's a relationship counselor, so he
Yeah.
was literally just like we were talking about it, and that question always comes up because even him and his wife are like, it's just richness, depth.
Yeah.
They're so patient, like, and they have a podcast that they do together, and they're so like just vulnerable, honest with the public, right,
Mm.
about life and love and
Mm.
like learning and healing, and I'm like, I see that for myself,
Mm.
right, but realistically, I just don't see how with the material that
Yeah.
I come across.
To be fair, I didn't, I found my partner, oceans away. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's not like
Yeah.
it's out there. It's kind of doing the work to finding that.
Yeah. And, like, I know you said, she's in the UK, right? You're
Yeah.
here. Like, did you go to the UK and then that's how you guys met? Like, was
Yeah.
it, like, by accident? Like, how did you guys meet?
It's kind of, mind you, I do this thing where whenever I have conversation, I don't know why I just work my wife into like into the conversation,
Mhm.
because I thoroughly enjoy speaking
I
about her.
love it, yeah.
But it was a little serendipitous, because it was a time where we both weren't into dating apps at all.
Mm.
And we both had people that were just like, maybe you should try Hinge. And I was like, I'm not
Mm.
doing that.
Mhm.
And then we both did, and like we kind of swiped right on each other.
I love that.
And it was a prompt, and I think that was the one that kind of like helped because it wasn't like other things where you're swiping on pictures. So she had a prompt that she had where she was like, "I'm the rock paper scissors champ," and
Mm.
I thought that was cap. I was like, "No, you're not." That's what's up. That's cute though. Whatever.
Right.
And then we had a conversation at the time, and it was a little bit tricky because I had went the to the UK in London in
Mhm.
2019. And 2019,
Yeah.
I did a segment on BBC Radio.
Mm.
Um, and I was there like doing poetry. And I had a little poetry tour there,
I love
and I
that.
had Hinge, and Hinge does this thing where it kind of switches location depending on where you are.
Mhm.
And this was around November, and then I came back to New York after that, and then she came to New York in December for New Year's.
Okay.
And I think her Hinge got stuck on New York, and I think mine for some reason got stuck on London.
Mm.
And when we like matched, it assumed that we were in the same place at the same time, even though we weren't.
Wow.
She was in London, I was in New York when we matched, but they just something with the algorithm happened.
Mhm.
So it wasn't too long we figured out that we weren't in the same place.
Wow.
Um, and it was kind of like a moment where we're like, "Do you still want to talk?" And I was like, I'm enjoying this."
Mm.
I loved what she was doing. She's very like empathetic, and a philanthropist, and at the time she was like saving up her sick days and all her time off just to help people in like Uganda.
Wow.
That's what I was at the time. I was thinking to myself, I'm quite a generous person,
Mhm.
and then I met her, and I'm just like, man, I ain't nothing.
Mm.
And then I really enjoyed that. I loved what she was doing.
Yeah.
And then we eventually met later in 2020 in person after the travel restrictions were lifted,
Mhm.
and we had like our first date at the end of 2020. But yeah, it was a little bit surreal because we started like backtracking when I tell people about how we met, and about moments in our lives where we were in the same place at the same time and never met.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a coincidence. When I was in the UK, and there was like this thing in London called like Winter Wonderland,
Mm.
and a friend of mine had took me and my boy there to kind of experience that. She was there at the same time, and we had photos
Yeah.
where we were in the same area at the same time but never met.
Oh my goodness.
We were in the Caribbean at the same time, and we never met. And this is like different years.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, a meant to be situation where this time it was gonna happen,
Mhm.
and Hinge kind of, facilitated that. So
I love that.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, shout out to Hinge.
yeah, it was a meant to be situation.
Meant
And
to be.
yeah,
That might be the name of this episode. Meant
meant
to
to be.
be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, she's Jamaican and Palestinian. Um,
Period.
right?
I know that's right.
And I think one of the first things she told me, she was like, "Listen, before we start this conversation, I want to let you know, like, I'm Muslim. So
Mm.
if that's not what you're into," and I'm just like, "But I'm Muslim too." And it was
Mm.
a lot of different things. And going back to what you were saying about like finding somebody that you can grow with,
Yeah.
I think what makes it easier for us, and I'm sure if you spoke to like docs about it as well,
Yeah.
is if you take away the relationship part, like the romantic part about it, that's still the homie. Like
Yeah.
we have a foundation as friends.
Mhm.
Um, and just the being romantically involved with each other was just like an added plus to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is someone who I consider like my best friend. Um, and if we weren't, God forbid, but if we weren't ever together,
Mhm.
that can still be someone that I'm very, very close to. And I think that at the end of the day, we rely on that friendship and that bondship with each other.
Yeah.
So it makes everything easier
Yes.
with the actual relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fire. That's
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I feel like that's what makes the difference between like a
Yeah.
partnership and like, you know, just like a girlfriend, wife,
Yeah.
whatever is the foundation of it being like a person that you actually want to talk to,
Mm.
that you genuinely like and want to like share things with, right? Which starts with that foundation piece like you said, like the foundation of it Like, even, like, the buildup, even, like, this like, you sharing, like, the buildup of it, right?
Yeah.
To where now being long distance, I'm sure it has its hardships,
Yeah.
but you're able to do it pretty, like, seamlessly or effortlessly
Yeah.
where it, like, that's my girl,
Mhm.
I'll see her soon, we'll be able
Yeah.
to whatever it is, and I think that's a beautiful thing, and I'm over here like, all of the things you said, Winter Wonderland, I'm about to go see what the dates are and
Yeah,
go
yeah.
get over there because
It's December, you never
listen,
know.
yeah, because 'cause I've been to London before actually, and I've
Yeah.
actually had, like, an interesting experience in London where, like, I went on a date with someone out there, and it was cute for what it was at the time.
Yeah.
But it was cool, like, I have nothing bad to say. It
Yeah.
just wasn't that person just wasn't my person.
Right, right.
We still cool, we got each other on IG,
Yeah.
to this day, but, um I like London. I like
Mhm.
London. I like the vibe out there. I like and I know London is just one area, one part, but like,
Yeah.
the UK is massive, but just the energy and vibe where I feel like London has some similarities to New York,
Mm.
but it's different. It is still different at the same time.
Mhm.
The people, the vibe, the energy.
Mhm.
It was pretty refreshing. I enjoyed that trip. So I'm like, I gotta spin back, man. I gotta go back over there, go to like an event or something.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, you gotta let me know whenever you go, and then we'll link up over there.
Yes.
There's yeah, like you said, there's more to the UK
Mm,
than
mm.
just London. London, at the end of the day, it's a vibe,
Yeah.
but coming from somebody like us that born and raised in New York, and
Yeah.
it's nothing that's like too out of the ordinary for you.
Mhm.
We're living in Leeds, which is kind of like north from London.
Okay.
And they always say like the northern people are a lot cooler or
Mm.
nicer,
Mhm.
and I've
Yes.
experienced that. I've been able to get a community out there, and kind of have like my life there and my life here,
Mhm.
uh, and yeah, yeah. I think it's kind of having that ability to widen your community
Yeah.
will always benefit you no matter what.
Yes.
Um, and I enjoy being able to live, I don't wanna say, like, double lives, 'cause it's the same life, but,
Mhm.
the things that I do here, I probably won't do there, and
Mhm.
the relationships that I have here aren't as, like, the same when it comes to friendships. Everything is different,
Yeah.
and keeping yourself versatile and
Absolutely.
multifaceted is just a plus, and you kinda grow into your own, with the amount of experiences you get to have.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's, I think that's just like there's something really I think just like special. Like to be
Mm.
able to do that and have that. I feel like there's like somewhat of a luxury
Yeah.
there is with that where like some people, are just comfortable, no knock, right? That's
Yeah.
fine. Some people are just comfortable like where they're at. They won't see beyond
Mm.
you know, New York City,
Yeah.
right? Which is like, New York, there's a lot here. There's a lot of, history here. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of, you know, there's the five boroughs. So you can
Yeah.
go to each one and see what it's like.
Yeah.
But, I feel like it's a bit, there's some limitation there, right?
Yeah.
Where I think the world is so huge. The UK in itself is just, you know, there's so much, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like to be able to do that, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we kinda got off track for a second, but
Mhm.
I wanna kinda bring it back to the question that you
Yeah,
had and kinda check in with you
yeah.
and see how
Oh,
you're doing.
oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate you.
Well,
That doesn't happen often, right? Like the times when people do, because there have been times where people have come on the show and they checked in with me, and I'm always like, "Oh,
yeah.
you care about me."
Yeah, of course, of course.
But no, thank you for that check-in reminder. So for
Mhm.
me, how am I doing? So, like we kind of talked briefly off camera before we started recording, and I was saying today in this moment I'm good,
Yeah.
happy to be here, happy to be having this conversation with you, you know prepared my mind, got here early just to make sure like we were good to go. um but I guess I'd say maybe I'll do the past month or so, like lately
Mm.
I've just been more anxious, I think, than I normally am. More anxious, a bit just like even like restless sometimes. anxious, restless, irritable,
Mm,
all of the symptoms of anxiety have been presenting. Like by the book, I've been irritable. I've been kind of just feeling a little bit, on edge or just,
mhm,
worrying, thinking about like things that haven't happened. Um, and I think it's all centered around like relationship, um, which I had told myself, I'm like, I'm not going to get into this. It's too much because I think I'm just trying to, I think because like, which I think words are powerful, right? Like when
mhm,
you say something, like you can either be releasing it, right? Letting it go. But then sometimes I feel like when you speak things too, it also kind of makes them more present
mm,
and real, right? So I think where this is, this relationship or just like the relationship that I'm thinking about, um, and like in reference to myself, like how it's affected me, I feel like I have done um a lot of speaking about it, I
mhm,
guess, and like it hasn't made me feel better
mm,
per se. Um so I said, of course I'm gonna speak on it. I'm gonna speak my truth no matter what.
mm,
And we on the pod, so I'm gonna talk about it. But I
yeah,
think just not in a way where I allow it to like just live in my energy more than it already has. So I think it's just, yeah, it's been a thing where I've just been doing a lot of reflecting on
mhm,
it. A lot of reflecting. I think there have been, you know, just like things that have happened over the course of time and more recently where it's, brought about like just conflict with
mhm.
a person that I was I guess you could say dealing with um, you know,
Entanglement?
huh?
An entanglement?
I'm going to say entanglement sounds right.
Yeah, yeah,
Sounds right. Entanglement situation, whatever
mhm,
you want to call it. But it was just something that like if I'm being honest with you should have probably been um nipped a long time ago,
mhm,
but because of, and this is where I'm going to make it about me,
mm,
right? And not about that person because of what I'm learning my it could be my attachment style.
mm,
I have a secure attachment style, but I have some fearful avoidant tendencies,
mm,
which is what I learned from doing the assessment, which is funny because I was avoiding doing that assessment
mhm,
for some reason because I just wasn't sure what it was gonna, because I do this assessment all the time with my clients. And I was like, one day I'm gonna do it for myself, right? But I just kept putting it off because I've been having just issues in relationship. I was like, you gonna do this assessment. Why you keep putting it off?
mhm,
Right. So I did it and it came out secure, which was a bit of a relief. But when I looked at my chart, because there's a chart that comes up and it shows you where you fall, like, you know, with a relationship with your mom, your dad, generally in relationships in general, and then romantic, um I had some fearful avoidant tendencies in there, which a lot of times like if you were to do some digging on like, okay, well, what does a fearful avoidant person do? What does
mhm,
that look like? And why, like, why do they even have these tendencies? It can come from whether maybe there was a parent not present,
mhm,
if the child maybe grew up in an environment where they experienced like neglect or like you know their voice wasn't heard or whatever, right? There are reasons for it, and I think instantly when I was doing this digging and research I was like, it all makes sense,
mm,
right? And so now I'm starting to realize the reason why I at times have allowed situations to go on for so long is because it's maybe rooted in some sort of abandonment issue
mhm,
where I'm like, I don't want this person to leave my life because then I have to feel the pain of that absence,
mhm,
which I know that pain, right, of absence, from my father not being present, right? But it's so interesting because I feel like I don't feel pain about that anymore, like my father's absence,
mhm,
but it's still it still doesn't change the fact that it was there at one point. So I guess I feel like maybe that's why perpetually I feel like this is just like, I feel like I keep hitting like a wall, the same
Mhm.
wall, right? The way you show care, the way you show love can look different, but I know those people in my life who they love differently, but I know they care for me. I know they got my back. I know. And it's like when kind of things maybe, I don't know, like hit the fan or we had this conflict, I was like, oh, this person doesn't care about me.
Mhm.
They don't care about me. And that's just how I maybe like, interpreted everything that happened.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but that's just the feeling. And so it's been hard. I feel like I've been, and I've been, I've talked about it with people in my life. I've talked about it, with the people who care about me, and all of their responses are pretty much the same, which is
Yeah.
just like, let this person, you know,
Yeah.
go about their life and you continue to be great. And it's like, yeah, that sounds good. It
Yeah.
sounds really great.
Yeah.
I wish it was that simple for me. The thing that's so interesting, which is kind of like a little, I guess, kicker, is that how I came to be a part of this run club is related to this person.
Mm.
So I almost, almost made the decision to no longer do it,
Mhm.
right? Ooh, I'm getting emotional. Most if you make me cry on this here podcast,
I win? I win the
you
podcast?
win
Okay.
because this hasn't happened.
That's alright, we'll
I'm
cry
like,
together.
listen,
Yeah.
ooh, I almost made the decision that I wasn't gonna do it no more.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure yesterday or today I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
I almost was like, you got it.
Yeah.
You won't see me, you won't hear from me. I found like community here for real. Like it
Mm.
wasn't just, and that's the thing, like it wasn't just like I wasn't just doing it, you know, it wasn't for like shits and giggles, like I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
doing it for like my own personal journey, physical, like I've talked about it, like my own physical journey and stuff like that. And I was doing it just for like growth in another area, like
Mm.
mentally and emotionally. Like I'm here for all of that labor, right?
Yeah.
Like for us just getting better, healing, doing that real work, being honest, vulnerable, all of that. But physically, I felt like a little stunted. Like, all right, we forgot about the physical part. That's very necessary. And with the run club, it was so difficult for me in the beginning. It was hard as hell. I was like,
Mm.
I don't know how people do it. And then I got to a place where I was like, no, I know how.
Yeah.
You just get up every day and you do it, even
Yeah.
when it hurts, even when you don't want to. It's the consistency, it's the discipline that all of these people have.
Yeah.
So you can do it. And I got there. And so like the fact that like I was like, you know what? The work that I did up until this point, I'm willing to walk away from it all for like the sake of just being able to kind of like compartmentalize it
Mhm.
in a way, like not like I'm like acting like it doesn't exist, but I've addressed it. I've addressed it. I've talked about it. I've cried about it. I've done so much about it. And so now it's like, so now keep running.
Yeah.
Right. And that person can be there and you don't have to acknowledge it. Like you don't have to acknowledge anything any further.
Yeah.
Right. So like I had to wrestle with it. I haven't really spoke about it in this way. I feel like you're also like super like objective here. Like
Mhm.
because you know, like we don't see each other all the time. This is, me even expressing this to you. Um, you're hearing it just from
Yeah.
like, for the first time and just from a different angle.
Yeah.
Um, there's something just cathartic about this. It
Yeah.
feels better and safer. And I
Mm.
feel, even like just lighter now talking to you about it
That's
in this
great.
moment.
Yeah.
Just walk away from it. Just feels like you don't do that. You don't
Yeah.
do that to your community that
Yeah.
you've grown with and that has been a part of your growth journey. You don't just say, all right, I'll see y'all when I see y'all because you're having a relationship problem.
Yeah.
Right. That isn't even a relationship for like, let's be serious.
Yeah.
Like I had to really sit and talk to myself like, girl, if you don't get it together, being in the same environment with someone who I feel like was okay with me being hurt and didn't care to try to like make it better.
Mm.
It just feels like it's just a reminder. It'll be a reminder until I forget about it. Until it's
Yeah.
like whatever, water
Yeah.
under the bridge and I don't give a damn, right? But I feel like that'll take some time for sure. But I'm not gonna stop running
Yeah.
because there has been progress. And I also am doing it for just health and like
Yeah.
overall wellness and just feeling good in my body. Like this is the best I've actually felt in my body in a couple years because
Mm,
I've had some, which I've talked about, like I've had some like just health things here and there that have come up, and then being able to say like I don't like whatever those symptoms were that were affecting my body,
mm,
it's not affecting me in the same way anymore
yeah.
because I've done the work to just be healthier and be better. You can't stop.
Mhm.
Like, you gotta keep going. So, like, I had to talk to myself in that way, and of course, had some encouragement along the way to remind me that, like, it's bigger than this situation. Like, forget about the situation.
Yeah.
This is probably a test to see how bad you really wanna get in shape and be fit, you
Yeah.
know? So, like, I had to just reframe it so that I didn't throw away progress.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would I would encourage everyone when it comes to like outlets and how we tend to deal with things
Yeah.
to have at least one physical outlet.
Yeah.
I do feel like the way your mind will just shut down your body when it comes to like being depressed or being anxious and you just want to just stay in one place
Mhm.
and um I'm not saying that like having that like not being alone it's not that it is bad for you,
Mhm.
but just having your body kind of shut down, it just makes everything harder. And I do feel like with something physical, it's like it's vice versa. It's like a current that runs through your body.
Mhm.
Because if you get your body right, that same energy and current is going to go back to your mind.
Yeah.
So like it works hand in hand. Um and I would suggest like I'm very proud of you because one, I hate running. I hate running. I used to do it when like I was an amateur boxer and I hated it so much. Like
Mm.
I get shin splints.
Yeah.
It's the one workout that I just would rather not do.
Yes.
Um but I do think that having that kind of like putting your body through the fire, crossing that like threshold of just like, "Oh, I just can't, I
Yeah.
just want to give up,"
Mhm.
and kind of like continue to move forward and seeing yourself on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of had one as well.
Mhm.
I had started doing like jujitsu,
Nice.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Yeah. At the time when I was thinking about doing it, I was just like, I need some type of, and I do it in the UK,
Nice.
and I need some type of like outlet. Like I need to I need to feel something. So
Mhm.
I took this trial class and I was like, whatever, it is what it is. And I kind of when I talk about like community, I have built one in the UK like through this gym. And I'm a very I spoke about it before when people ask me like the style of poetry that I write and things like that. And I've always
Yeah.
as a child been obsessed with like metaphors and similes because I feel like how else can I convey an emotion to you if you don't understand what I'm saying? Maybe
Mm.
I can find a relatable way to say it.
Yes.
So when it comes to like literal metaphors and similes, I do like physical metaphors.
Mhm.
And the way I was thinking about it is like, I'm going through these things in my life and I'm using this type of mixed martial art as an outlet.
Mhm.
And the way I was kind of viewing it was, I was viewing the whole process of it as life, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I mean, I was getting beat up. I really was, man. I was
Mm.
getting submitted. I was getting choked out.
Mhm.
And I just at points I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking about like, man, it's when you look at it, it's just like it's hard for me to think about my depression or my anxiety when there's like this sweaty grown man trying to choke me out. All I can focus is like, I just need to get out of this. I just need to get out of this.
Mhm.
And I took that like as a literal standpoint, like when life feels like it's getting a lot, when you feel suffocated, when you feel like you don't want to continue no more. There's nothing wrong with just like tapping out for the day and be like, all
Yeah.
right, cool, calm. But that brings growth. Like you're able
Yes.
to become not necessarily numb to it, but you're used to this type of pain. So
Mm.
I've gotten used to the type of, like situations I get put in when it comes to like getting out of, certain uh locks or getting out of all these
Yeah.
situations I put myself in because maybe I didn't know how to do before, but gradually and slowly I've gotten better and better as a jujitsu practitioner to a point where I feel comfortable with the pressure and I feel comfortable with me putting in like situations where I can't breathe
Yeah.
and all I can do is just think like
Mhm.
how am I going to get out of this? And I took that to like a literal standpoint because anxiety does that to me where I just feel like I can't do anything right now. I can't breathe. I can't, focus on anything else. I
Mhm.
just need to figure out how to get out of this moment right now.
Yeah.
And it went hand in hand with it. And, you just get better and better and you come back every day, knowing what you learned before. And, maybe today was tough for you, but
Mhm.
you've been here before and
Yeah.
you're used to it. That way, when you face that same hurdle again, you've been here before.
Mhm.
Somebody try to choke you out, but you're better at it now
Mm,
that
mhm.
you're easy to get out of it. And
Yeah.
so, I do use that as, I've done a lot of like metaphors, like comparing depression and anxiety, and people that have heard like poetic therapy a lot.
I love that.
I've compared it to my comic heads, like Venom,
Mm.
where I feel like depression has that sense of like
Mhm.
consuming me, and it's
Mhm.
not just you now, it's we. Me
Yeah.
and depression are one now. And I hated that feeling. And it's almost made it for some people when I explain to them how I feel with depression, that's what it feels like.
Mhm.
Or talking about like, comparing it to D&D. I'm quite like a nerd when it comes to things like that, but
Yeah.
it's easier to explain it in simpler fashions of how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I also encourage people to write. I know we spoke about that
Yes.
at your live event where if I can just see what I'm feeling on paper,
Yeah.
I'll get a better idea of how I can move past it.
Yes.
So, I encourage you to like, if you're keeping a journal or if you enjoy writing poetry, like do that. And just try to get to the best version of yourself, no matter what.
Mhm.
Find an angle, find an outlet. But just the one thing you should never do is just give up on yourself.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And I think I could do better at that for sure.
Mm,
I think yeah, like aside from the run club, I don't think I have anything else physical that I do. I mean, going for walks was something that I was doing. And it going for walks is great, right? It,
yeah.
it definitely, as far as like endorphins and you just feeling more positive about life, good for digestion, all of the things, right? It helps. But yeah, I think when you are are like a part of something that causes like distress
Mm,
in real time, that you can't catch your breath, like you like you can't think about anything else.
yeah.
And then once you get through it, like the feelings that come from that, just a different type of feeling.
Yeah.
So I definitely think like absolutely. I think that that was just well said. I like the way you kind of just like even used the metaphors in that too
Mm,
to help. So yeah, I think it's just I got to keep going
yeah.
and not allowing anyone or anything to stop me from just like my full potential
Yeah.
in all areas. Because I don't let nobody stop me when it comes to like career goals or if I want to go after something, if I want to do something.
Yeah.
So I don't know why why the idea of like stopping came from this,
Yeah.
and that's how I know, like, I was really sad.
Yeah.
That's how I know, like, I was, like, not in my right frame of mind
Mm,
for the past few weeks, but I'm like, "Thank God my mind is coming back
yeah.
because please, please know who I am?" That's
Yeah.
I really had to ask myself, like, "Girl, do you know who you are?"
Yeah.
And it's sometimes and that's the thing sometimes where I feel like relationships for me are always just tricky because it's like, I feel like the fact that I would even lose sight of like who I am is insane to me,
Mm,
right? For like because of someone else,
yeah.
right? Like that to me is just something that like I teach on a regular basis with clients or help them to try to see that like
Mm,
you are bigger than, whatever that thing is that is trying to like weigh you down, right?
mm,
So it's I feel like it's been a just an eye-opening experience for me. It's been humbling. It's been a lot, but I'm just grateful to be here now, still in it,
yeah.
but like just like moving through it.
Yeah, it's like it's also, helping rewire your brain and how you like cope with things. I had like this very bad and nasty trait
Mhm.
where when bad things were happening to me, I used to always tell myself for me to be able to like get through it,
Yeah.
um because I had this whole idea of just like why me? Like
Mm.
I'm a good person. Like I hated the fact of like hitting these hurdles and feeling like why me and to make myself and it was like a very poor way of thinking
Mhm.
to make myself get through. It was just like, maybe I deserve it.
Mm.
Maybe I do. Maybe I low key am. I must be a bad person if these things are happening.
Mhm.
And I kept saying that to myself, like kind of growing up. And this can all stem back from like when you go back to, you know, uh, growing up and the things that you had to deal with a kid as a kid.
Yeah.
And I had that thing in my head of like, maybe I'm a bad person. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe I deserve this. And, you know, I people tend to equate your brain to like a computer,
Mhm.
and it tends to like it'll almost muscle memory kind of bring back to you what you've taught it, right?
Yeah.
So at there was a point in my life, maybe in my 20s, where I'm just like, damn, you know, this thing that I'm going through, it sucks. And then in the back of my mind, I heard, yeah, maybe you deserve it.
Mm.
I'm just like, I didn't I didn't subconsciously think that. Like I
Right.
wasn't going there first, but
For sure.
because I've programmed to my mind to think that when you go through bad things, it's because you deserve it. It's because, you're not supposed to have nice things. And I'm just like, this is insane. And I had to
Mhm.
find ways to like kind of rewire my brain to not think that way.
Right.
Um, and that's kind of maybe the reason why I feel so anxious all the time.
Mm.
Cause now I have to like walk my brain back
Mhm.
and kind of rewire it that like, everyone kind of goes through things, and, you're only growing
Mhm.
in the situations that you're in. And, you should always try to talk to yourself a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's a physical and mental thing that you have to work on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's so true. And I think even just to add to that too, like some people, and I don't know if that's what it was for you exactly, but some people get into this space of where like things not going right feel right. Like it's
Mm,
comfortable, like it's more comfortable, when, you know, yeah, people just get comfortable there. Like bad things are always happening.
mm,
So therefore, if something good is happening, this is questionable.
mm,
This is I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, or like something is waiting right around the corner after this good thing happens, more bad because that sometimes is all people are used to. So like, the idea that like something would be going right feels foreign,
mhm,
right? And that sometimes too is like, that just kind of came to mind with what you were sharing there, where some people actually it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy,
mm,
right? Where like you're, you can't even conceptualize that this would go really great for you because, of what you've been exposed to, right? Throughout your life
yeah,
that you are just you're sabotaging, you know, things going well for you,
yeah,
right? And like people a lot of times don't see it when it's happening.
mhm,
But then when you kind of zoom out, you know, or have someone else kind of take a look, they're able to point out like, well, you said you wanted this, but so why are you saying this or why are you thinking this,
mhm,
So, yeah. Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I think that's why having certain outlets can help you
Yeah.
kind of move past that. Like you said, you talk to people about it, maybe have like a soundboard. Um, Treat yourself right, man. Like uh, bad things are always gonna happen, but it's just how you deal with them is gonna be like your bread and butter for
Mhm.
anything in life. Um, and I'm speaking as a person who is very comfortable with being a pessimist.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because it's easier for me to always prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
Um, but man, my wife is the complete opposite of that.
I love that.
Yeah, and she kind of like hates when I do that. So it's always a reminder to be like, stop beating yourself down, man.
Mhm.
Like it's not good for you because you're only gonna like drown in this depression that you're in.
Yeah.
It's never gonna get easier for you. So you might as well better start treading water quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys are opposites from each other
Hmm.
because, she can, pour into you or help you in those areas and vice versa. Like, and maybe like, pessimist is what, you identified as, you know, previously, but now we could reframe it, right? Or change the language. Maybe it's more like go from pessimist to just more of like a realist, right? And
Yeah.
then from realist to one day optimist, right? Like
Wouldn't that be
that
nice?
would be like
Yeah.
it's the transition. It
Yeah.
happens like that sometimes where it's like cool. Like even the language, right, that we use is so powerful, right? Like with what I was saying, I feel like sometimes words, like when we say things, it just gives life to things that like
Mhm.
we don't want.
Mhm.
But then other times it's powerful in a really good way, right? So that's where I think like, depending on what state you're in, right? Like internally, that's essentially what kind of feeds that
Mhm.
the words that, which even though the words are coming from us, but like it's all like intertwined, I feel like in that way.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's great that like it just sounds like you guys balance each other out really nicely. And
Yeah.
I feel like being opposite is so fire. I feel
Yeah.
like it's fire. For me, I'm like, you don't gotta like all the same things. Like you could be because me, I feel like I've like changed. Cause before
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a morning person at all. Please do not speak to me before 9 a.m. Now I'll be waking up at like 6 a.m. every day and like, oh, I gotta go for a run. I gotta go for like I'm like, who am I? Like I don't sometimes I don't even know like who I am for real.
Yeah.
Like I am changing and ever changing, ever growing and evolving. So like I can't even put myself in these particular boxes anymore. But I also feel like whoever I meet, they can like be completely different from me.
Yeah.
And it's not even like the things that they're into their per se
Mhm.
or like not into, that would be the thing that would make me fall for them. I think
Mhm.
it's deeper. So
Mhm.
that's why sometimes I feel like those things like, the opposites stuff is just really, really good,
Yeah.
because it reminds you of like just like the different like facets and complexities.
Yeah, because you don't
Um
need to be with somebody that can check every
yeah.
box for you. You
Yes.
just need somebody to kind of fill in the gaps more so. So
Yes.
it's just like, if maybe you're not an extrovert, but you meet somebody who's an extrovert and can handle that,
Mm-hmm.
when you need to be, and vice versa. If somebody is an optimist, can counteract a pessimist, or
Mm-hmm.
um there's like levels to kind of growing with somebody. And
Yeah.
it's a journey that, um I know it's gonna sound corny, but like the journey that love takes you.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's not corny.
yeah,
Just say that.
yeah, it is. It is. I think if I can't even quantify what this woman has done for me. And I feel like if you can count the grains of sand, maybe
Yeah.
you can understand what I'm saying. But it's, I mean, if you haven't experienced this kind of love, like, I suggest you find a way to see it, and
I can't wait.
yeah, I do a horrible job at like talking about it. I wrote a whole poem called Unwritable, which
Mm.
was about my wife, because I can't figure out how to explain what
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling and what she does for me. And for somebody who is like a writer, like, that's the crux. Like, it's just I can't, how am I gonna tell you this emotion that I'm feeling if I can't even explain it,
Yeah.
And I'll do my best, but I don't. I mean, I really don't know where I'd be without her.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh wow. I love that. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. Whether you're good at, I feel like you've done a really great job in this episode describing it, but hopefully the audience can feel it too. I mean, I feel it because of course like I'm here
Yeah.
talking with you, but yeah, I feel like sometimes with love, right? Because I know for sure I haven't experienced that love. If
Yeah.
anything, I've experienced it with my mom for sure. My mom has shown me that love, right?
Fair.
Which our parents, um, and I mean the reality is some parents don't. Some parents
Yeah.
don't do a good job with showing love to their children. So I don't even want to make that just like an umbrella
Mhm.
statement. But I feel like I've received that from my mom in a very like special way, but with a partner, with a romantic partner, no, but I can't wait. Like I really
Mm.
am just like I know it's coming because I've like talked to God about it. I've prayed
Yeah.
about it. Um, I got to actually get in my prayer bag again and like really get into it. And not just about love, but like just life, like just get just closer
Yeah.
locked in that way. But I can't wait. I say that
Yeah.
all the time. Like I'm just like I see myself with, which at one point this was an area I couldn't really see anything with,
Mm.
where I was like, I don't know why this which I've said it a few times on the podcast, like this area is the one area I just don't get. Like
Mm.
everything else I could come up with a plan and woo, but with this, I don't know that you can plan to the T with relationships. Sometimes, things just happen when it's time to happen, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, it's just always like it feels like something that I can't really grasp,
Mhm.
but I'm hopeful.
I'm
That's
5 years in, I'm still figuring it out. I don't
I'm
have
like
the blueprint for it.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
So this was like you said, this was like actually like right in the midst of like when we had met,
Yeah.
you were, connecting
Yeah,
with your
yeah.
wife, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, Joe.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm so happy for you.
Thank
Love is beautiful.
you.
And
Yeah.
I want that for everyone. I want it for everyone.
Yeah.
It's something that we need more of. I think especially now in this
Mhm.
generation, in this time where everything is just so
Grim.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Everything is just like also like very like transactional era
Mm.
where people don't even
Yeah.
care about like seemingly don't care about
Yeah.
love anymore because they're so whatever jaded, hurt,
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's like more of that. So
I think it's too much social media
too
kind of
much.
giving us the wrong ideas
Yep.
of like what people assume love is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just have to experience it for yourself. Everybody's gonna it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're gonna continue working on self. Like
Yeah.
for me, I'll continue working on self.
Self love.
Yeah. Cause sometimes I say to myself, like, maybe the reason why my person isn't here yet is because I'm not the person who I need to be yet, you know? Which
True.
is like, because I think it's weird to think that to think that you like are perfect is narcissistic actually. So
Honestly. Yeah.
I know for a fact that there's work that I need to do, but I just be like, but I also don't know that I believe in the idea that you need to be this whole and like well-to-do person in order to have love. I think like those two things clash for me where I'm like, there are some people that I know that when they met their partners, they was like, man,
A mess?
like I don't
I
even
mean,
I'm like it's like but then there are these there are people who like and I get going back to the social media thing, there are
yeah.
people who like preach these things and it sounds good. It sounds right.
Yeah.
Like heal, work on you, get going to gym every day and be your best self. Like stop consuming this, stop watching that. Like, get in and I feel like those concepts make sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense. But like there are people even if they never did any of that. There are people who I know. They was just minding their business one day, doing all the things that they like to do and then they bumped into their person on the street.
Yeah.
So I think like love is major. It's something
Mhm.
that I feel like isn't like I don't feel like it's like this is the way that I conceptualize it. It isn't something that you can fully even conceptualize
Mm.
until you experience, what you have,
Yeah.
right? So that's where I'm just like I'll be patient. I'll be
Yeah.
patient. I'll continue to do what I can do, you know, in the meantime in preparation.
Yeah.
But
And never feel like you the weight of just like I need to be at a 10 to meet the person.
right.
You know what I mean? You could meet them at like a 2 and then
Mhm.
you both work on your way up to 10. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to feel like I would say at least understand where you feel emotionally and like where you at, whether it be spiritually or, wherever you are in life.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of understand you got to understand you first
Mhm.
before you go and understand somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. For sure. For sure. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good, Mose. Oh, thank you so much for all that you shared.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, I feel like this was such a good conversation. It was like it was good.
Do you have like a sign off when you do when you end
Yeah, so normally, not really, not like
yeah.
officially. It's more so I want, I of course, share anything you have going on coming up that people could look out for, your social media tags and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I just hit him with a
With a peace sign?
yep.
Yeah. Nah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, my social media handle is most gen the poet.
Mhm.
It's pretty much on all social medias.
Yeah.
I'm an actor
Mhm.
and a poet. Hopefully, a couple of projects are coming out. I don't want to, just avoid the whole being sued for an NDA type of situation, but
Mhm.
just gonna keep a lookout for everything, and then, yeah, I really, thank you for having me,
Of
and,
course.
I'm happy to do this again anytime soon.
Yes, absolutely. We anytime. For most, we could run it back
Yeah,
multiple times. Like there, I have, friends, guests, people in my life that if you ever wanted to come back on the show, we could do
yeah,
it. Seasonally, quarterly,
yeah,
and yeah, and I appreciate you so much for all that you shared and for
yeah.
coming. And make sure you guys follow him. This is your Mental Matters podcast, guys. We're out. Yeah. Thanks,
Amazing.
Wolf. Yeah.